Hi, and welcome to the Mosaic Minute. My name is Jeff Bounds, and I'm the Vice President of Client Engagement and Marketing with the Mosaic Consulting Group. And I just want to get a shout out to all of our followers here on social media. And we're super excited that you could join us today for something that's very important to us at Mosaic. And giving back has always been something that our organization has prided itself on. For the past 12 years, those of you that are not familiar with Mosaic Consulting Group, for the past 12 years, we have been a premier partner with UKG, and our founder, Vicki Hill, has started this organization and really developed a culture of giving back and helping everybody that's on UKG software be able to take the greatest software on the planet and be able to help take it to the next level. So we're going to be providing great information to you guys every single week. And I am so excited today of the guests that I have on today. I'm going to have Kat go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Kat Haffman. I'm a Premier Services Leader here at Mosaic. And I've been here for a little over 2 years, which has been such an amazing and rewarding opportunity. And just a little bit about myself. So my background is as an HR generalist. I've been in that space for a little over 7 years. And I have sat in the shoes of some of our clients as an HR leader. And I'm so excited to be here talking with Jeff today. So thank you.
Yeah, and it's actually ironic. Kat and I actually came to Mosaic at the same time, and we have an event every single year where we bring our entire organization together down here in Nashville. And I remember meeting Kat on the first day that we started, and we were having lunch out on the terrace in the hotel that we were at. So pretty interesting watching her journey through these past couple of years. And I got to tell you, she's one of my favorite cohorts here to talk to at Mosaic. And she brings so much value to this organization, and every single client that she's interacted with over these past 2 years have just had raving things to say about her. So she's being very modest. She's actually been in the HR space for over 7 years. And one of the great things about Mosaic, for those of you that don't know about our organization, is we have over 105. Vicki, if you're watching this, I apologize if I might be off 105, 106, maybe 107. We're constantly building out our organization. But every single person that is employed here at Mosaic, we actually have on a full-time basis. We don't have anybody overseas or anything like that. It's all inside of this group. We're one of the largest, if not the largest, premier partners with Mosaic. But like Kat, every single person in our organization has sat in your shoes. So Kat specifically, for the past 7 years, she's been an HR generalist. So she has been in the day-to-day. She's been in the foxhole, really helping organizations be able to find their way and really be able to strategize and optimize what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. And a little bit of her background, she's a certified Franklin Covey coach. And she's been able to help organizations in best practices, goal setting, and being able to take their organization and move it forward. She has a ton of experience in the M&A space. So I'm not sure of how many of you today maybe you're dealing with acquisitions or mergers, but she's definitely had a lot of experience with that. She also specializes in onboarding and handbooks, and she's really been able, from her past experience, to help guide organizations. So in this conversation that we're going to have today, and every single one that we have, we're going to have 3 key takeaways today that you guys are going to be able to leave with after listening to this broadcast. So let's get right into it. So what we're going to talk about today is something that's on everybody's mind right now. We've heard of quiet quitting. We've heard of these other different axioms that are going on in the marketplace right now. But the bottom line is, how do you bridge the gap when a key player leaves your team? This can actually be something that can completely turn an organization upside down. So that's going to be our conversation topic today. So Kat, let's walk through, from a key player leaving the team, how does an organization get themselves prepared for this?
Absolutely. So the best way to get prepared about it is to start having conversations within your key players within the organization to say, what happens if our HRIS person leaves? What happens if our payroll specialist leaves? What are we going to do? And it can be an uncomfortable topic, right? We don't want to have any of our key people leave that are performing well, but it totally happens. And so really having those conversations to plan ahead, to have a contingency plan in place is going to be crucial.
Right. So it's not if, it's when. And I
Absolutely.
think that the number one takeaway that we're going to just start right off the bat here is learning how to be proactive versus reactive. And that's easy to say. And I'm sure everybody that's watched this, we all realize that it's harder to do than it is to say. So I guess on that point, Kat, for folks that are watching this today, what would be your guidance to them of how to get into more of that proactive stance versus reactive? What should they be thinking through, and what should they implement today to put them in a position of leverage down the road when unfortunately that individual does decide to move forward?
Absolutely. So I think really the key thing here is making sure that you understand fully what that person does within your organization. I have seen it before where that time comes where someone is going to be leaving. They're giving a 2-week notice, and we have to sit back and say, what is this person doing daily? What are they doing weekly? What do they do on a monthly basis? What is it that they do on an annual basis? And to have an analysis and see what exactly those key things that they are doing to help move the to keep things afloat within the organization is going to be crucial, because then you really start to understand what it is that they do. This is something that I would suggest that you do regardless of if you're worried about a key person leaving, is really just to see what it is that they do, you know, throughout the year. So.
Yeah. And I think one of those things too is something we're going through right now as an organization is performance reviews. One of the biggest challenges that I see in organizations is the fact that, if you don't, get intentional with engaging with your team members and understanding what are the metrics, what are the goals, do you have a framework laid out, do you have playbooks laid out? So I know something that you've done in the past, Kat, is you've helped create handbooks, you've helped create onboarding plans, but you just brought up something very, very interesting there. A lot of times organizations might not even know what the role consists of or what the day-to-day is, or maybe that succession plan is not there. So talk a little bit about milestoning that and what that means to an organization in case if somebody decides to exit.
Absolutely. So you may be thinking you may have a person in your head that sits in one of those seats, and they may be doing super well. You may not even have to worry about what they're doing, right? But putting some intention behind asking those questions to say, hey, what does your week look like? And to be really engaged with them, to understand what it is that they do. It provides an extra level of support, but it also plays into the fact that, when you do have annual performance reviews, or maybe it's every 6 months, whatever it might be, you're putting some intention, some thought around every week they do this. And you can create a checklist or a guide, or and really it's also a part of engaging them as well, to say, hey, I'm here, I'm listening to you, I understand what it is that you do. And so it's going to set you up in a place to be engaged with those people, your employees, but also helping to create that plan for contingency for if they do leave.
Love that. So for those of you that are watching, we're just curious, and that is one of your takeaways, have a succession plan, have, framework laid out for what does that position entail. I'm just curious, drop in the chat below, how many of you actually have that documented today inside of your organization? So forbid if somebody does decide to leave, would you know what to do next? Would you know what that new person would need to step into, and kind of what's hidden beneath, what lies beneath? Do you understand exactly what that position entails and how you would be able to provide a really good onboarding plan for that new hire to be able to hit the ground running? So that's tip number one. I think number two, and you and I were talking about this the other day, is in this space, it's really no different than any sort of organization that you work in. You kind of get caught inside the frame. And when you get caught inside the frame, sometimes you don't see things that are happening on the outside because you don't have, for example, the performance reviews. You don't have the meetings inside of your organization, or you don't have maybe a trusted advisor come in, where a lot of companies that partner with Mosaic, we come in as a trusted advisor, we come in as a resource, either whether it's through Premier Services, whether we come in and help, with payroll, or we come client side perspective or anything like that. And this is a great topic because we just experienced this, I want to say it was a couple of weeks ago, where we had somebody that implemented us for emergency payroll, and they were looking to bring in the new leader. And then we started in that engagement, and then they were like, okay, well, we did find a replacement for that. But here's where it got really dicey. Yes, they found a great candidate, but just kind of what we're speaking to here, the onboarding perspective from that new hire in the first 90 days to get them to level up, that was something that was a hard hill for them to overcome. So what they decided to do with us is to keep us on board as a trusted advisor to help them get through the onboarding, to make sure this individual is going to be successful, to get them performing at a high level. Speak to that a little bit, Kat, about how important it is, like when you're bringing somebody else on to fill a gap, to make sure that that experience is fluid, and maybe kind of what you've seen in the past here at Mosaic on how we've been able to help companies get to that level.
Yeah. So for some companies, the outsourcing word can be a little bit scary. Like, we're always going to have to rely on a third party to help us with this. But that is totally not the case. We've had instances, and I've been a part of those transitions, where someone does leave the organization with one of our clients, right? And so they need us to help bridge a gap. We can come in with a very unbiased view and really just look at the data in the system to say, this is how things are set up. This is what I would suggest. And then I've also been a part of when they do find a replacement for that position. We've had conversations with our clients when they've asked, what is it that you would look for in this position? Are there some key things that I can be looking for in the talent pool that I should be looking at to consider for this position? But then also, once that individual is identified and is onboarded, we assist with that knowledge transfer, welcoming them into their team, because our Mosaic's culture is such that we are family, and we think of our clients as family. We care about their success. And that rings true when you do onboard a new person to your team that's going to be joining, the Mosaic team as well, to really partner together. And I've done it several times where I've bridged that gap and then introduced that individual into the team, and to assist them in their first 30 days, their first 90 days, their first year, and staying in touch with those individuals to really help them be successful, and to give them that knowledge transfer. Hey, this is what I've been working on. How can I translate this differently, or how can I help make sure that you're understanding as well the backstory of why this was done in the system. So we have done many of those transitions. We do them really, I may be a little bit biased, but we do them really well. And I've seen them be very successful. And those key individuals that were, they were in a place where they may not have known what they were going to do without that person, to it's a thing of the past. They've been able to partner with us and really move the needle forward within their business.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's key number two. The key number two is, don't be afraid to leverage a partner, a consulting practice like a Mosaic, to come in to help you think through some of these situations. Because when I talked about being inside of the frame, when you bring in a third party, they help you be able to get outside. And maybe there's some things that could potentially be right in front of your face, but because every single day you have so many things going on, it doesn't come to the surface level. We can help you think into that. So that's another, way that you can leverage a partner. I know maybe some of you that are watching this, maybe you haven't used a partner before, or maybe you haven't used a consulting firm, and that can be a little intimidating. What we attempt to try to do here, and I think one of the things that makes such a great consulting practice inside of UKG, is we really try to sit down and find out current state versus future state, where you want to go, and then bridging the gap around that. So what I'd like to close up with on this, and this is the third aspect of what we're going to provide to you today, is that everything we talk about on the Mosaic Minute, it's never theory. It's what we deal with in a day-to-day here at Mosaic. So I'd like you, Kat, to speak into the audience here, and let's talk about a situation, maybe the most recent situation that you were in. And I want to talk into what the current state was, what the challenge was, and then how we were able to get them to think through that.
Absolutely. I was working with a client who was relatively new to their team, and they had some key players that have been there for a little while, but immediately noticed that they weren't engaged and they weren't performing well. And so they were starting to think through, what if I do something differently? What if we partner in a different way? What if this relationship looks a little bit different? And that they did have that individual leave the organization, and they went through this analysis of, okay, what is it that this person does? What is it that they're truly providing to the organization? And where does Mosaic come into play with that? And so they really had to dig deep and understand what exactly they needed as things were changing. And what they were able to do was determine that they no longer needed to backfill that position. Yeah. They no longer needed to backfill the position. They felt so comfortable in the service that we were providing. And they also, really key here, they brought us along in this conversation. It can be uncomfortable to say, hey, we maybe have this issue going on. This person isn't performing well within our organization. We are trusted advisors that you can come to us and provide us that information to say, hey, this person is on a performance improvement plan, and we're not sure what the future looks like. We don't shy away from those situations. We dig in deeper, really, we do. And again, they were able to no longer need to backfill that position, use us as a trusted resource. And they were also able to show to their executive team the impact that we were having on the organization, of being able to close out grievances and to really show the value that Mosaic was providing to their organization. And they now feel comfortable with us that they haven't changed their mind. Things haven't changed. They still feel that support, and they are looking towards the future and road mapping with us to say, what additional things can we add on to our services that we do today? And so it's a really exciting time to have those conversations with our clients and to really get that feedback, because we love that feedback and hearing how we've made a difference and inspired confidence with them.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so true. It's I can't tell you how many clients that I've seen that initially have come in because they were faced with something that was literally right in front of them, that going back to that proactive versus reactive, they had to be reactive in the moment, but what they learned through that experience, and I think everything in life is about learning through experiences. And what they learned is that was just what they suspected. But once they started working with us and we came in, we brought to their level of awareness other areas where they could really help move their organization ahead, and really at the end of the day, maximize this great investment that they have in this UKG software. So great stuff. Well, Kat, I really appreciate you jumping on today, and appreciate everybody that's watching this. And look, we want to make this for you. So drop in the comments below what takeaways you got from this Mosaic Minute today, and then maybe some other areas where you'd like us to be able to highlight for you moving forward. And like I mentioned, we're going to be doing this every single week to be able to provide as much content as we can. If you have any additional questions for Kat, drop it in the chat. We can definitely get you in touch with her. If you have any questions for me as well, drop it in there as well. You can also direct message us. We can also be able to respond to you that way. But again, this is about you guys. This is about value. And again, I hope you're enjoying this. So on behalf of Kat and on behalf of myself, we appreciate you joining us on the Mosaic Minute. And we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at noon Eastern time for our next session. Until then, take care.
Thanks.